So, hi, Arlene. Thank you for joining us today. Just for everyone else's purpose, Arlene does have PKU, and she's an adult, obviously, here with us, who's returned to diet at some point during her life. The Drive to Thrive program for CAN PKU is based on helping everyone thrive and do their best on PKU, but we're specifically trying to target those adults who somewhere between 1965 and 1985 were removed from diet because that was the practice at the time. And not only were they removed from diet, but they were discharged from care, meaning that we don't have follow up with them. So we have to try to find them to let them know the benefits of coming back to diet. So Arlene has graciously volunteered some of her time today to tell us her story. So I'm going to pass it off to Arlene and let you give us your story, Arlene, as much as you're comfortable sharing about you and your family's. Well, I know you've had a long journey to get to where you are today.
Well, my family was basically the first family in Canada, because in the early years, I was 1955, 56, my brother had PKU, and so did my sister's twin had PKU, and they both died when they were infants. And I'm the first survivor in our family. Out of five of us, three of us had PKU, so that's the early days. I was diagnosed at birth, as usual, and the formula tasted awful, but it's so much better now for the formula. I was lost in the system, and they never told me I was supposed to be on a special diet, so I was eating a normal diet when I was going to school and everything, and I didn't think I had problems then, but it was probably the aspect of the learning disabilities that I had during school, because I always got the borderline grades. And I believe that the kids now that have PKU, stick to your diet in school. I'm sure your grades will be better. That's what I have for those. But I was lost in the system. I was seeing my doctor up till the age of 11. And after that, I was basically on my own. They never told my mom I was supposed to be on diet all that time that I was home. And she stayed in the one place for 50 years, so it's not that they couldn't find us. But I was still lost. And how I seen...
Sorry for interrupting. That's because of that belief that that was an okay time to take you off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why. And how I got back on my diet was I was in college at the time in Kitchener. That's jumping way ahead. That was 96 to 2000 when I was in Kitchener. To 2001, because I stayed an extra year after I graduated. So it was December 16, 2001 that I met up with my team again in Kingston at Hotel Dieu. That's where my team is. My team is still there. And the only one that's the same person is my dietitian's been right there with me throughout this whole ordeal. So that's Julie Nevedek in Kingston. She's my dietitian. And she's been really good. I actually just sent my blood test again just the other day. So my levels have been rocky. It was on the high level for December, and I don't know why. And I still don't know why, but that's besides the point. It was in the 700s again. So we're trying to get it back down. It keeps fluctuating. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. So.
And some of that is us still having to figure out how to, and I say us, but I mean doctors, I'm not a scientist or anything, but figuring out how best to help you guys, what you best need as adults.
Yeah. So it was basically 2002 when I really got back on my diet. Like I went to see them again in January, and that's when I really got back on my diet. And I was 38 years off diet. So, but I was having trouble. I had a rash about the size of a grapefruit on my leg for about 4 years while I was going to college in Kitchener. And my sister took me to her doctor in Oakville at the time. And he was going to put me on the low protein, like Lofenac. That's the ones for the kids. So we knew that was the wrong one. So we tried hooking up with the teams at that point, but it was really 2001, 2002 when I really got back on a diet. Maureen has been instrumental in helping me with different recipes and bread machines and everything. She helped me make bread and helped me with different recipes and everything. So I think I've learned a lot over the years. And
Dusty just coming to say hello again.
yeah, she's just coming to say hi.
So Arlene, do you remember when you were off diet, that period between 11 years old up until you were the early 2000s? You mentioned that school was troubling for you. Do you remember any other feelings of how you felt during that period that you no longer feel that may have been symptoms of higher levels?
Feelings wise, well, I was always a loner. Like I haven't had many friends. I only have a core group of friends. So yeah, I was only alone. Everybody goes through that, but
that's not always a bad thing. I'm the same way, I feel.
Yeah.
Did you feel like did you have confusions or headaches or any of the symptoms that you sometimes hear other adults have experienced? Did you have any of those?
Not growing up, no. No, I didn't have headaches growing up. Just since I moved here to Lindsay, in this house, that I've had the headaches. But this house is also 1925, so that's probably explains a lot of it.
The building materials, maybe.
Yeah, so.
When you went back on diet, I know that I hear the diet from the 60s was completely different than the diet I know for our son. How did you find a difference in the foods and formulas for taste and textures and variety?
Like I said, I was only on the formula. We didn't have the specialized food back then. So I was basically on a normal diet, yet the formula was passé. I was off diet around the age of 3, age of 5. But the doctor didn't know I could talk, but I read to him. That's the only way he knew I would talk, that I knew how to talk, was I read to him. We took a book so I could read to him. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk to him. I have no problem talking to doctors now.
Just a shy little girl, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, when you say regular diet, did they have you eating meats and things, or did they restrict the higher foods?
No, I was on a total regular diet.
Interesting.
Like I used to have fried eggs first thing in the morning. Like that was my breakfast every day going to school. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to have them.
Right.
And KFC chicken. I didn't like it for the longest time. Then it turns out I can't have it anyway now, so I don't miss it though.
Yeah. I know a lot of adults still have their treasures that they like to bring forward from the diet from when they were off diet. The younger generation's lucky that they'll never have to experience coming off diet and going back on, as long as they stick to the current plans. But it's definitely a challenge for you guys, and I feel for that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite low protein food now?
Oh, my favorite? For breakfast, it'd be the LP Fruity. And Tweaks and Hamburgers are my go-to. Like, I have those. Tweaks and Hamburgers are with my meal, with potatoes and veggies and stuff like that for my supper meal. And oh, lunch has usually been pitas, mushroom and cheese in the pita, melted and everything. Put ranch dressing on it. That's usually been my lunch. I actually made a sandwich, sort of like a Western omelet sandwich. I have this container, it just folds in half, just like a normal size of omelet. It does it in the microwave.
Nice.
1 minute.
Do you use the eggs for that, like the EGGZ eggs, or do you use regular?
I have I think it was Country Sunrise eggs that I have. Yeah. I've had the Cambrook eggs before too. But Country Sunrise is the one that I can measure everything. I know how much to measure. It's roughly like equivalent to a 3-egg omelet. I put in for my omelet dish.
Yeah.
Put part of it in a sandwich, and then I eat the rest of it.
I love learning new fun ways of cooking, like using the microwave for those kind of things, because I think it allows anyone to cook. Like everyone can use a microwave, right? From a young age to an older age, it's an easy way of preparing foods.
I didn't have those growing up.
For sure. Yeah. You didn't have a need for them. You were off diet.
Well, still, like the microwave. Nowadays, like my cousin has totally renovated the house that I grew up in, and it is now he has a dishwasher, everything aluminum in the kitchen now, except there's a walk-through. Go in one side, come out the other.
Nice.
So, yeah, he's done a lot of renovations. And instead of zigzagging through the upstairs rooms, he has one straight path, bedroom on both sides, and where Dad's room was, it looks like a ballroom.
Nice.
That's how big it is. He knocked out the little nursery and made it all one room. That's the biggest room upstairs. It's beautiful. He's done a great job.
What would your advice be to an adult that has been taken off of care during that period by the medical professionals, or an adult who chose their own path of going off in order to come back to treatment? Would you have an opinion for them?
Oh, that's a good question. I think getting back on diet would be really worthwhile for them, and it would definitely make their life a lot easier, per se. Like being back on diet has the benefits. I found, like, I'm not as moody. Like I had a lot of mood swings when I was younger, so I'm not as moody that way. Sure, everybody cries, but it's not really moody, like almost like the angry type of moody. I don't get the angry type of moody anymore. I used to hit my, the great big computers. I used to hit the computer up the side of the head.
On the big monitors?
Yeah, I used to hit the computer up the side of the head. That's how angry I got.
I love how you call it a head, because it totally looks like that could be a head. Like it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, our first computer was a big head. Absolutely. Anything else you want to add to this mini interview, hun?
I think the computer is a good way to keep track of if you're really computer literate. So it would help you in the long run.
Yeah, I think the computer has really changed. I mean, people don't have to feel alone anymore. It's not so rare when you're linked to everyone through a computer. The community is, I feel the community is very large and interactive now.
Yeah.
I don't know anything other than that. Jake's only 12, so I don't know anything other than that. But I couldn't imagine dealing with this without having the community shoulder to lean on. And that's the internet, right?
Yeah, as soon as I found out it was Smitty's restaurant, I text Francis, I'm going to Smitty's restaurant in Lindsay. I need help. So She basically sent me my menu.
Frances is a good friend of Arlene's, and Arlene was telling me that she's going out for lunch at Smitty's restaurant. So Frances also works with CAM PKU to help as a volunteer. So she's a wonderful person. So I love that you can call her and just be like, I'm going to this restaurant. What's a good choice for me?
Yeah, what can I have? Because I haven't been to Smitty's since Manitoba. This is the first time I've gone to Smitty's in Ontario.
Yeah, and restaurants are so much more accommodating now than they have been in the past. To find things that you can eat is probably easier.
Well, obviously I have to take my formula, but I think I'm going to take my fixings for the coffee, obviously, and maybe just a little bit of cheese, because I'm getting a salad without the cheese. Just a little bit of cheese. So then maybe a roll or something.
And how much, just for those who are watching the video later on, how many grams are you at per day?
I'm at 11 grams of protein per day, and I'm currently taking 18 Kuvan tablets.
Do you remember what your allowance was before you started Kuvan?
Before I started Kuvan?
Each response is different, so it's fine if you don't remember, but
I can't remember.
Okay.
When I first started the Kuvan trial in Hamilton before I came back to Lindsay and Kingston, I was on 22 tablets at one point. And at that point, when I was living with Lorene, when I moved in with Lorene, I was 304 pounds or whatever. That was my weight at that time when I moved in with Lorene. And I'm currently 278 right now. And in the past 3 years, like pre-COVID, the last time I weighed in Kingston, I was 268 there. So I basically gained 10 pounds just during the COVID. Like during this COVID time, I gained 10 pounds.
I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people have gained COVID pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. The amount of Kuvan you take would go down if your body mass had gone down, if you lost weight. Yeah. But yeah, I think that gaining weight during COVID is a common side effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all can say that.
But since I saw Julie, and I just weighed in for the first time just in November, and it was 278 at that point. So it was 10 pounds within that 3 years of COVID.
And now that we can get out and go do things again and get moving again, I think it'll.
Well, I already did the snow shoveling. I still have a bit more snow shoveling to do, but the snowplow worked today. That's good. It didn't work the last time.
Yeah. Mother Nature is helping us with our exercise. Whether we like it or not.
Yeah. I don't like it. I got too cold. My nose is getting cold. My winter coat the other day decided to split just before I went to work. I just started volunteering at a hospital again. So we have to wear masks because they're high in there. So, but other than that, it's been Thursday was my first shift back. Now we're going up.
Are we able to get your coat fixed? Is that something you can get done, or do you have another coat?
Yeah, I have another coat.
Okay.
Yeah. I wore my fall one, but I took the lining out of my winter coat and I wore that.
Good idea.
But when I go in, I think I'll just wear my poncho. I have a nice dressy poncho that I got for my birthday when they were in Myrtle Beach the one year.
Nice.
Got myself a birthday present. Went to McDonald's. They even gave me a mini ice cream cone because I could have ice cream otherwise. I just got sample size just to say they give me my birthday ice cream.
That's very sweet. Very sweet indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you very much for taking the time to share your story with us. And I'll definitely get it to you before I make it live public so that you can have a look and make sure you're happy with everything. And then we'll share it with our community.